Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Selamat siang. Inshallah today we will review some of the important topics that we have covered. Two things that we will cover today. Pertamanya, grounded theory. One of the methods used in qualitative research. And the second topic that we will cover today is structural equation modeling. One of the data analysis techniques used in quantitative research. So there are two reasons why we need to review this. The first reason is this topic, grounded theory, is I think is an important research design in qualitative research. And also, the other topic is structural equation modeling, which is one of the important data analysis technique for PhD students doing the quantitative research. So some of you will do the qualitative research, while others will use quantitative research. Right? Okay, and these topics are also will be on the final exam, so pay attention. Okay, so let's review grounded theory. Before that, let me remind you that Colloquium 1 will be held on the 14th of April. So get ready with the draft of the initial plan. Most of you have submitted, but you can still, upgrade, improve. If you find that there are still some mistakes, you can still improve. And second thing that you need to do is you need to prepare the PowerPoint presentation. You'll be given about 15 minutes. So the PowerPoint should not be more than 10 pages, I think. You can test yourself. You can, before you present at Colloquium 1, you can test in front of mirror and make sure you can finish your presentation. Make sure you can finish your presentation within 15 minutes, okay? Okay. Secondly, I would like to remind you to submit your assignment 2. Assignment 2 consists of chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3 of the topics that you choose to pass this class, right? Don't worry about being perfect. There will be some mistakes. So if you don't submit, you will fail this class. If you submit, even if there are lots of mistakes, you'll pass the class. So at this stage, we are not concerned about being perfect. Don't worry. There are some students who WhatsApp me and call me saying that they cannot submit, and they will not submit because there are still some mistakes, lots of errors. So don't worry about that. Don't worry about making mistakes. Don't worry about making errors. The most important thing is you are able to write chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3. Although not complete chapters, right? Not complete chapters, but at least you have the important points, right? You will write the important points. From my past experience, those who submit assignment 1 and assignment 2, and they try their best to write, even if there are many mistakes, but they submit and they try their best. Some of them wrote about more than 50 pages. These PhD candidates, after the class, they are able to proceed very quickly, right? But there are some PhD students who did not put effort in submitting the assignment. After the class, the next semester, they could not proceed because they did not try their best effort while writing the assignment. So from my past experience, those who put effort, try their best. Even if you make mistakes, it's all right. Try the best, write about 50 pages. More or less. If it's less, it's still all right. If it's more than 50 pages, it's better, right? These PhD candidates, the next semester, they are able to improve chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, and they can proceed to proposal defense. While the PhD candidates who did not put effort, from my past experience, they tend to be missing. The next semester, the following semester, they tend to be missing because they said they did not really understand this subject. They do not understand about how to write the PhD dissertation. So this class is all about helping the PhD students to write, right? So if you really pay attention, watch the videos, you need to read the books. At least you read these lecture notes that I gave to you, and I will repost again after class this lecture notes. And if you don't understand, you should ask in this class. Because I don't know what you understand and what you don't understand. All right? Okay. Any question before we continue? So today we will review two.
When is the final exam? I forgot the date.
Oh, we don't decide yet. The final.
Okay.
So let's see. I think we haven't decided. Your colloquium one will be on
14 April.
14, right?
And then you said that the last class is on the 4th of April. Is that right?
The last class, wait. Today is 26. The last class will be next week, the 2nd of April.
Okay, the 2nd of April. So the final exam is after the 2nd of April.
Yeah, I think it's all right. Yeah, we can have the final exam on the 9th.
Before colloquium 1, yeah?
Yeah, it's up to you. Either on the 9th or on the 23rd. Which one you prefer? 9 atau 23?
23rd.
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 Okay, then we will have on 23rd.
Because we have to prepare the colloquium 1.
After colloquium.
After colloquium ya Bu Emi ya.
Yes, but I didn't get my schedule of colloquium 1. I have talked to Dr. Tahir, but I didn't have the schedule for colloquium 1. I have already sent my initial plan and I have discussed with my supervisor, but I didn't get the schedule for colloquium.
Okay. Maybe my guess is you submitted after the deadline. So
The first submitted, Prof.
yeah.
I'm the first. Maybe I'm the first for submit the site receiver and also my initial plan. Yeah.
Okay. You can send again to WhatsApp Dr. Tahir and also send to me. Maybe I will talk to Dr. Tahir. The two things you need to send. One is the form, right? There is a form.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other one is a draft of your initial plan.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
I'll send you. Yes, I'll send you as soon as possible, Prof.
Okay. You resend to Dr. Tahir and send to me so
Okay.
that I can remind him. Maybe your name is somehow somehow for some reasons your name is not included in colloquium 1. I don't know why, but I will try to help to put your name in colloquium 1.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Prof.
Okay, welcome. So next week, next Saturday is our last class, inshallah. So so we will use this week and next week to touch on certain topics that will be on the final exams. And probably in May, in May, we will have workshops on SPSS. We will have workshop on PLS, and then maybe we have one workshop on academic writing, where we will teach the PhD students on how to use Grammarly, how to use what do you call?
Turnitin maybe.
Huh?
Turnitin maybe. Turnitin for the plagiarism or for the.
That one later. That one later. Turn it in. Maybe we can have much later. How to do the SLT, systematic literature review. How to use Grammarly. That is very important at the beginning of your PhD journey. Use the Grammarly to do the references, right? Using Grammarly. Sorry, using Mendeley. Sorry, Mendeley. Grammarly is used if you write in English. But if you write in Bahasa Melayu, you cannot use Grammarly. Grammarly doesn't understand Bahasa Melayu, Bahasa Malaysia. Okay. Mendeley. We will have a workshop on Mendeley. That one will be in May after we finished marking the final exam. So I hope all of you will pass, and some of you are concerned that they might fail the class. Okay, but since I've been teaching this PhD research methodology since 2016, I started teaching PhD in management, and then now I'm teaching a PhD in Islamic banking and finance. Nobody has failed this class, but the students need to submit chapter 1, submit chapter 2, and do the final exam, right? If you don't do these three things, you might fail the class, okay? All right. So the final exam will be in the form of structured questions. Means there'll be short question and short answer. Your answer might consist of, 5 or 10 sentences. It's not a long essay, just a short essay, right? 5 sentences or 6 sentences, just straight to the point. And the most important is to write in your own words. If you copy paste, you get no points, no marks for copy paste. The questions always ask to discuss, to analyze, to contrast in your own words. Means you need to type. Yeah, you need to type in the box provided in the answer questions. You need to type in your own words. Don't worry about the time. I give you 12 hours. Should be more than enough. 12 hours. And it's an open book. You can look at any books you like, but your answer must be in your own words, right? You cannot copy paste. Don't copy paste from the books. All right. Any question on the assignment and the final exam?
Prof.
Silakan, Bapak Haji.
Okay, so Prof, about the exam, how many questions are there, Prof?
I think there are 5 questions. One question carries 20 marks, I think. And for each question, there are pecahan, ada pecahan. Each question consists of 1 or 2 parts. Okay, so the question is very short, and your answer should be straightforward, right? 4 or 5 sentences, for example. Or if you want to write more, it's all right, but not a long essay. Just a straightforward answer the question.
Prof, hello, Prof.
Yes, yes.
You said you give us 12 hours, Prof,
Yes.
to answer the exam question. So how about technically between giving you give the question, then we answer your question, Prof.
What was the question again?
Yeah, You said that you give 12 hours to us to answer the exam. So how about the technically between when you give us the question, then we answer your question? I mean, maybe for the first time you give us a question first, then we off the class, then we submit the question to classroom, or
Okay,
maybe.
good. So this is how the final exam will be conducted. I will set the time. You will join the link, the Zoom link.
Okay.
Okay, and the questions will be given in Google Classroom and also in WhatsApp. The questions will be given about 10 minutes after everybody enters the Google link. So for example, if we start the exam at 10 in the morning, right? So I will share the questions in WhatsApp group and also in Google Classroom 10 minutes after 10 o'clock. Just like the face-to-face exams, right? You enter the hall, you enter the exam hall first, and then the lecturer will give instructions for about 10 minutes. Then the lecturer will distribute the questions, right? Just like face-to-face. Then I will stay in the link for about 30 minutes. So use that 30 minutes to ask any questions related to the exam, right? You read all the questions. Any questions you don't understand, you can ask. Within 30 minutes, I will stay, right? Then if everybody understands the questions, then we can end the Zoom meeting, right? Then you can answer your questions in your own time. So let me remind everybody, to pass the exam, you must answer in your own words. Because my question will not be very straightforward. What happened was some students, they copy paste. Few students, they copy paste. When you copy paste, you don't answer my questions, because my questions is a little bit of it requires a little bit of analysis on your part. You need to think a little bit on your part. It's not straightforward, right? Okay, but they managed to pass because you know, I don't like to fail students. So
Okay, Prof.
so let me remind everybody to try your best to answer in your own words. I give you 12 hours, so that if you know you cannot answer certain questions, you can always study. You can always go back and study. Then you come back and answer the questions. The questions must be typed in the Word form. The questions is in Word, okay, in Microsoft Word. So it's your answer must be written in the box provided. The box is expandable. The more you write, the more the box will expand. You know.
So, Prof, hello, Prof.
Yes.
So it's mean that when you give or provide 12 hours for us to answer your question, so it mean that for those who submit fast answer, it means cannot increase the result of score the exam. Is that right, Prof?
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah. Prof, we have 12 hours to answer the exam question. So because of this huge hours to answer the question, so it means that for someone those who submit fast answer can increase the result of score, Prof. Is that correct, Prof?
Oh, you mean the one who submit first will get higher marks?
Yeah, is that right or not, Prof?
No.
Someone maybe you give 12 hours, so someone maybe Prof, can answer all your question only 1 hour. Is it more better or is it the same?
The same.
Oh, it's the same. Okay, okay. Noted, Prof.
Okay. So the marks depends on your answer, not on the time of your submission.
Okay. Okay, noted, Prof. Thank you, Prof.
You're welcome. If you need more time, you can WhatsApp me, and you must give reasonable justification why, if you cannot submit within 12 hours. Usually I still accept, but you must give a very good explanation. Maybe you have some. So you need to submit to Google Form, right? There are some students who have the problem of how to submit to Google Classrooms. So you need to practice how to submit to Google Classroom. It's the same way as you submit your assignment, right? So assignment 1, you should submit to the section of assignment 1, right? Assignment 2, you should submit to the section of assignment 2. So final exam, there is a section on final exam. Please do not, submit to the wrong section. So I will be confused. I cannot find. So final exam, submit to the final exam section. Okay. Any other question?
Hello, Prof. Sorry,
Yes,
Prof.
yes. Go ahead.
For materials that you can be used to preparation, and we can study before the exam. Maybe can you share it with us?
Sure.
About the materials, Prof? Thank you, Prof.
Sure. You should view again the video, the recording of the lectures in Dr. Yusuf TV, and then when you're free, watch again this lecture recording, and I will send this lecture notes that I'm sharing now. I will resend again.
Okay. Thank you, Prof.
You're welcome. And some other books that I sent a long time ago, I will resend again. Okay. So, any other questions? So, Bapak Haji, are you ready for colloquium 1? Your name is included or not? Bapak Haji?
Prof.
Yeah. Your name is included or not in colloquium 1?
Yeah, not yet, Prof.
You haven't?
I have a chance. I have a chance because I have already. Sorry, Prof. I have already answered from the company, so they can approve my request or approve my proposal. So I have to change the topic, Prof.
It's all right.
So I have to change my topic. So I need maybe next class is the our last class, Prof. Yeah, maybe in the last class, yeah, I need your help to review my
Okay.
initial plan, Prof. Because
Okay.
a really bad time for me because okay. Thank you so much, Prof.
You're welcome. You can submit later, and we will arrange another colloquium one, maybe in May. Okay. So for those of you who have not submitted the form and the draft for colloquium one, you can still submit, but you will be requested to present sometimes in May. Okay.
Okay, Prof.
We will set another date because the 14th of April was already set.
But
So,
Prof, sorry,
yeah.
Prof. You said that next week is our last class. Then you told us for someone who doesn't clear about the initial plan, so you prepare on May. Is it confused for me, Prof?
Okay. Okay. I think let me make it clear. Okay, there are two things here. One is this class, research methodology, right? Okay. For this research,
Okay, right, Prof.
for this research methodology class, the last class is next week.
Okay,
Okay.
noted.
Okay, and then the final exam will be on 23rd.
Okay.
Okay, and then another thing is colloquium one. Colloquium one has nothing to do with this class.
Okay,
Colloquium one
okay.
is handled by Dr. Tahir.
Okay.
Okay, so if you want to, usually we advise the students to present colloquium one during semester one, right? So
Right.
semester one will end in May, right? So if you want to present, some of our PhD students have submitted and will present on the 14th. But if you haven't submitted your application form and the draft for colloquium one, you can still submit. We will arrange sometimes in May because May will still be in semester one.
Okay, Prof.
Yeah, that one is handled by Dr. Tahir. I'm just here, as I was saying, I'm just trying to help PhD students to pass colloquium one, right? And then later on, after passing colloquium one, you will have to prepare for the proposal defense. You can use assignment 2, right, for proposal defense. And then you discuss with your respective supervisors on improving, how to improve assignment 2, right? To prepare for proposal defense. So I'm here to help you write, get started to write. And then the rest, you need to discuss with your supervisor, right?
Yeah.
But if you have any questions, you can still ask me. Okay.
Ask to you private or in the forum or?
You can ask in the group.
In the group. Okay. Okay.
This group will not be closed. This WhatsApp group will not be closed. For next semester, there will be new students, right? Next semester will start in August. There will be new students, but you can still join the class.
Okay, Prof.
Sit in the class.
Okay, Prof. Clear for me, Prof. Thank you, Prof.
You're welcome. So this semester break will be a long break for you. You'll probably finish your colloquium 1 and final exam in April. So there'll be May, June, and July, 3 long months of semester break. Right? May, June, and July. You need to continue working, discuss with your supervisors, and you can ask me questions if necessary. We can have like group supervision. You can ask any questions related to the progress. Okay, you can ask in the group. I'm willing to do the informal supervision for students who are not under my supervision. Many students in this class are not under my supervision, right? Because I already have 10 students under my supervision. And in Malaysia, the rule is each lecturer can supervise not more than 10 PhD students. So that is the rule. So I'm like a fool already. Okay. But I'm willing to help if you have any questions, okay? Because to me, it's important that we project a good image, okay, so that our relationship between UNISHAMS and universities in Indonesia will be very excellent. We will have excellent relationship, So we want to project good image. Most of our PhD students come from Indonesia, so we want to project good image. Bapak Haji, yeah?
Yes, yeah.
So if you have any problem, let me know. We will try to help you.
I will, Prof.
Okay, so I'm willing to help. So, for example, if you are stuck somewhere, so you can, post any questions. If the questions can be answered in WhatsApp group, I will answer in WhatsApp group. But there are some questions that we need to discuss, using Zoom. We need to discuss like a live discussion, then we can have live discussion. Depends on your question, right? Okay. Any other question? Bu Tuti, it's been a long time.
Yeah, hello, Prof. How are you? Sorry?
What happened to you? You disappear. Just joking.
No, I join every week. Last week I also joined. This week join, but you never, pay attention to me. Then I'm quiet. Yes. I join every week, every Saturday. You can.
Okay.
You can check from the recording. My face. Last week also. So that's why I'm asking you, because last week you said that today you were going to give us the SAM PLS. Are you? So, and it is open for I mean, not only student, but also can ask anyone. So actually, I already invite 3 of my friends who interested to join UNISAM. So I also already said to Ibu Madam Rose that I take 3 person and they are going to join today because they interested to PLSM. Sorry, Ibu Fica. Close your. Terus maunya Miss Ibu Fica. Nah.
For PLSM.
Yeah, because you said last week today they're going to have, PLSM. Are you?
For your information, PLSM workshop is postponed.
Oh no.
For some reasons, because we want to review a couple of topics that will be on the final exam.
Oh, okay. So I have to tell them because they are waiting, you know, waiting my link to join you.
Yeah, so inshallah we will have sometimes in May. We need to plan and do some paperwork together with Dr. Tahir.
Okay.
To have several workshops. One is on Mendeley.
Yeah, that's important. That's important, very important.
One is workshop on Mendeley. The second one is on Word, how to do the table of content.
Yeah. The one that you said to me last week.
The table of content, how to insert
that's important.
The table of the list of figures and the list of graphs.
Content dictionary.
Yeah, and then
dictionary, Prof. Dictionary. You said to me dictionary.
Yeah, how to translate the documents from to different languages.
Yeah, I will.
If you use English, then you can use Grammarly.
Yeah.
For other languages, there is no software.
Yeah.
And then we'll have on SPSS and also on a PLS.
Yeah.
So for all these workshops, there'll be like a small fee, you know, something like 50 ringgit for.
Okay. Yeah. The very important is table of content and also the Mendeley. Yeah. So, I already finished it. So hopefully today, this evening, I will send you my revision based on your guidance last week. Last week, last week you called me.
So, so if you're ready, you need you need to do the pilot test, right?
Yeah.
If the questionnaire items are validated, and go to the test of reliability, and then you need to distribute to, for example, 100 randomly chosen respondents to do the pilot study. Okay,
Prof, have you signed my proposal for the colloquium, second colloquium? Because Dr. Tahir asked me. Please sign it, Prof.
Please. No. You need, like I said, you need to do the pilot test because pilot test is part of the proposal defense.
Oh, okay. So pilot test and then submitting the second colloquium, yeah.
Yeah, the form is there. I said I said I will sign after Bu Tuti do the pilot test.
Okay.
That's what I told Dr. Tahir.
Okay. Because I don't understand. I don't hear it about it.
Okay.
So first I send the chapter.
For quantitative studies, the second step is after passing colloquium 1, right? You need to go for proposal defense. Proposal defense consists of presenting your chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3.
Already done.
Right. And then chapter 3, at the end of chapter 3, pilot study is part of chapter 3. So each PhD student must do the pilot study first before they can present at proposal.
Pilot study, it means?
Pilot study means, okay, after you construct the theoretical framework, right? You need to discuss. Each students need to discuss the theoretical framework with the supervisor, right?
Okay, yes, okay.
So after the supervisor approves the theoretical framework, then the students need to construct the questionnaire items, right?
Hello.
Right? You need to write the questionnaire items, right?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. That's on the state.
So
yeah,
like I said,
yeah, the states, that's already in the states now.
So like I said, for each variable included in the theoretical framework of the study for PhD, there must be at least 8 items. 8 items.
Okay. So can I start distributing, you know, for the pilot project for my list question?
Yeah,
now?
the supervisor need to approve. So you need to send again.
Okay. Yeah.
Like I said before, you need to, for each item, you need to mention who you adapt and you adopt from. For example, item 1.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Item 1, adapted and adopted from John 2000.
Okay, done. Okay, done.
Then the supervisor will need to check the spelling, check everything. It's very important.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, I'll send you tonight.
Then you can convert into Google Form, right?
Yeah, yes.
Convert into Google Form, and then you send to randomly chosen 100 respondents.
Okay, okay, I will send you tonight, yeah, bro. So all the complete one.
Then after you get the feedback in Google Form, right? You need to learn how to go to Google Form.
Yeah.
And then after you get the feedback, you need to key in Excel.
Yeah. Okay.
Then you need to do 2 things. The test of validity and the test of reliability for each of the items.
Yeah.
So if the items do not pass the test of validity and reliability, the items must be deleted. So that one must be reported in chapter 3 before you defend at proposal defense.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So
okay,
pilot test is part of your chapter 3.
Okay then. Okay. Okay.
All
Thank
right.
you, Prof. By the way, why you don't have any, you know, I mean, this, you know, this information to disseminate to Ibu Susi also, so we can all listen what you give us guidance.
If you look at the video of lectures, I have explained everything.
Yeah, that's the video, but the discussion.
I mean, I have explained many times last semester and this semester.
Yeah.
So you should not blame me.
No, not blaming, you know, I'm just proposing.
No, I have explained many times. So I'm surprised that you still don't understand.
I understand, but you know, if you give you know, information to all of us, then everybody can listen.
I've given the information and I'm giving the information now.
Okay.
So please pay attention. If you don't understand, you can ask. I have explained everything. All right. If you don't understand, I will continue. I will, no problem. I can explain again. So I have explained, I think, many times. Many times. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Bu Hamidia, any question?
No, Prof.
All right.
I have answered from Dr. Tahir that my schedule for colloquium 1 is will be decided on the next meeting in next month. I think it's clear. Yeah.
Okay. So it might be in May, right?
Yes. It's okay then.
Maybe during the month of Ramadan.
Yeah, it's okay. I have a lot of times to prepare maybe.
Yeah. So it's all right because May is still within the semester. So the semester will end in May, right? So it's still on time. So it's all right.
Yeah, thank you, Prof.
You're welcome. Okay, we will cover two topics today. Actually, this topic was covered before, but today I want to review the grounded theory approach to qualitative research, right? And then I will review also the structural equation modeling for quantitative research. So we will cover two topics today, grounded theory for qualitative research and structural equation modeling for quantitative research. Okay, so let's continue our discussion about grounded theory. So grounded theory is a qualitative research approach that attempts to uncover the meanings of people's social actions, interactions, and experiences. Can you see the slide? Can everybody see the slide?
Yes, yeah, bro.
Yes, Prof. Clearly.
Okay. So grounded theory is a type of a qualitative research approach that tries to uncover the meanings of people's actions, the meanings of people's experience, the meanings of people's interactions. So it's called grounded, grounded because they are grounded in the participants' own explanations or interpretations. So the data is obtained using explanations from the respondents, right? Or using interpretations from respondents. So researchers will ask certain questions to get explanations from the respondents or from the participants. So based on the answers given by the respondents or participants, the researcher will form the theory, right? Will come to a certain findings, right? Barney Glaser and Elsam Strauss originated this method in 1967 book, The Discovery of Grounded Theory, right? So the grounded theory approach has been used by researchers in various disciplines, right? Including sociology, anthropology, psychology, economics, public health. Okay, but in Islamic finance, we have not seen any research using the grounded theory yet. Maybe there are some, maybe I missed, maybe I haven't come across yet. So grounded theory qualitative research was considered path-breaking in many respects when it was first introduced. The inductive method allowed the analysis of data during the collection process. So when researchers do the grounded theory, they don't have much of a theory. There was basically not much theory that was proposed. So what happens is the researcher tries to come up with the theory, using the data obtained from the participants' responses, from participants' explanations or participants' interpretations. So there'll be questions from researchers to the participants, and the participants will answer the questions. So it's kind of using the interview method, right? So grounded theory, qualitative research was considered path-breaking, okay? So it is inductive in the sense that the researcher used the data to come up with the theory. So the data first, then from the data, the researcher will try to make certain conclusions, maybe have a certain hypothesis and certain theory based on the data. Okay. Grounded theory is a research method concerned with generating theory. So the purpose of using grounded theory is to generate theory, okay, which is grounded in that the researchers systematically collect and analyze the data, and then from the data, the researchers use the data to form the theory. The theory is in the form of social relationships, theory about behavior, theory about social relationships. So it's called the social process. So based on the data, the researchers will try to, form the theory regarding the relationships, regarding the interactions among people in certain groups. So it is used to uncover social relationships and behaviors of people known as social processes. Grounded theory is a research method where the researcher develops the theory from the data. The researchers will try to obtain the data, and from the data, the researchers will form the theory. Okay, so it is called inductive approach, meaning that it moves from specific to more general. Grounded theory refers to a set of systematic inductive methods for conducting qualitative research aimed towards theory development. So the purpose of grounded theory is to develop a new theory regarding interactions among people, regarding social relationships among the people from a certain group. So researchers use the term grounded theory to mean that the methods of inquiry for collecting and in particular analyzing data. So in this kind of approach, the qualitative approach, the researchers will try to collect the data using suitable methods, for example, using interview, okay? Using interview, the researchers will interview the respondents using open-ended questions. Open-ended questions means the researcher will start asking a few questions that are planned, that are written prior to the interview. And then the researchers will follow up the questions based on the answers given by the participants. Okay, so participants will answer the first few questions, but the rest of the questions are open-ended, meaning the researchers can ask any questions by following up the response given by the respondents. All right. And the second method is participant observation or fieldwork and or focus groups, right? So the researchers can also participate in the social activities together with the respondents. Okay. And the researcher can also do the focus group. Focus group means the researchers will set appointments with one or two groups and then ask them questions. Ask the different groups about certain questions to see if the responses by the different groups contradict or same or in line with the response from other group. So to compare and contrast the responses from different groups. And also study of artifacts and tags. There are some researchers who use old tags, artifacts, archives, and tags as their data. And from the data, they will try to form a new conclusion or a new theory. Okay. So study of artifacts and tags. Some people call it library research, right? So this is another type of data collection used in the grounded theory. So grounded theory is a qualitative method designed to help arrive at new theories and deductions. Researchers collect data through any means they prefer. So researchers can use any types of data collection that they like, whether participant observation, interviews, or other methods. And then they analyze the data that they collect, and they arrive at certain concepts. They will, based on the data, they will try to form the concept, form the theory. So in the end, they might have a new theory, right? They can form a new theory. Through a comparison of these concepts, they plan theories. They start with concepts first, and then from the concepts, they try to compose or construct a theory. They continue until they reach a sample saturation, in which no new information upsets the theory they have formulated. Then they put forth their final theory. So sometimes this grounded theory takes a long time. Usually it takes a long time because after collecting the data, they need to form a theory, and then sometimes the process continues. Yeah, the process continues until they finally feel that the data is saturated, meaning that the data is saturated means that there is no new information. The information by the last respondents are the same as the information given by the previous respondents. Okay. In grounded theory, the framework description guides the researcher's interpretation of data. A data description is the researcher's algorithm for collecting and organizing data while also constructing a conceptual model that can be tested against new observations. So for example, when the researcher collects the data and then formulate the theory, the researcher will try to compare and contrast the new findings with the current theory and see if the new findings is in line or not, whether the new findings contradicts or not the existing theory. Okay. Grounded theory doesn't assume that there is a single meaning of an event, object, or concept. In grounded theory, you interpret all data researchers interpret all data as information or materials that fit into the categories. So the data, usually the researchers, when they use the interview method, there is a software called Nvivo. Nvivo software that enables the researchers to group the data into different theme or different classification, so that the data will give meaningful meanings to the researchers. All right, any question on grounded theory? It's difficult, huh? Okay. How to conduct grounded theory research? There are 4 steps involved in grounded theory research. Stage 1 is concepts. Concepts are derived from interviews, observation, and reflection. So after collecting the data, right? So the researchers will need to formulate the concepts, right? Formulate the concepts based on the theory that are gathered, using interviews, observation, and reflection. Stage 2, the data is organized into categories or that represent themes. Yeah. So data is organized into categories that represent themes or subplots. Like I said, this is done using Nvivo. Stage 3, as categories develop, they are compared with one another, and 2 or more competing theories are identified. So after the researchers group them into different categories, then the researchers will have an idea of the categories and compare and contrast the categories according to the existing theories, if any. Stage 4, the final step, involves the construction of the research hypothesis statement or concept mapping. So finally, the researchers will construct the hypothesis and develop the hypothesis based on the data. All right. So we'll take a break for about 10 minutes. I think I need coffee. Okay. Before we take a break, any questions? Okay, what time is it? Okay.
In
Okay,
12 Malaysia, but 11 in Indonesia.
Yeah, it's 11:43. So we'll continue at 12 o'clock Malaysian time, inshallah. In the meantime, if you have any questions, you can ask me later when I come back.
Okay.
Okay. Bu Ita, okay? Bu Ita Sitasari, you are confused? Okay, inshallah, we will continue at... Yeah, Bapak Amir,
Yeah.
If you have questions, you can ask me when I come back, yeah? 12 o'clock, inshallah, I will come back.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I need
Thank you, bro.
I need a coffee break. Okay.
Oh, yes, yes. Yes, please, bro.
Saya mau ngerekam juga nih.
Ya Allah ya anak ayah ya. Kakak sama Mai sama Meme sama ayah aja lah.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bapak Prayogi, apa kabar?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Sehat? I've seen Bapak Fakri share the information about the 8th International Islamic Monetary Economics and Finance Conference will be held from 5th to 6th October. This is good. So everybody can try to present. Inshallah, I will present also one paper. Inshallah, I will send. Thank you to Bapak Fakri for sharing this information. And I encourage everybody to join also. Okay. Okay. Okay, any questions before we continue? Bapak Prayagi, any question?
Allah belum, Prof.
Tidak ada soalan, eh? Belum ada?
Allah belum ada soalan.
Okay. Okay, so let's continue. Grounded theory is a relatively recent additions to the tools at a researcher's disposal. This is quite new. These new methods to do the grounded theory. And here are the common features of the grounded theory. Grounded theory starts with codes. Okay, these are sets of words used to describe the meaning of a phenomena. So the data is collected using interviews, observations, and other data sources. For example, in Islamic studies, sometimes they use what they call library research. Library research consists of collecting data using old texts. Some of them use the books written by previous Islamic scholars, written, centuries ago, long time ago. So these are the some of the methods to collect data. So whatever the data that are obtained in grounded theory, it starts with codes. The codes are determined by the researchers. I'll give you an example. For example, I want to determine the factors or the determinants that influence people's payment of zakat, whether Muslims pay zakat or not. I want to determine what are the factors that influence their decision to pay zakat or not to pay zakat. So I can start with interviews, right? I can interview certain people, certain Muslims, and then I record the interviews. Then I type. I type the response in words. Okay. Then, for example, one of the answers is just for example, the respondents say that they pay zakat because their husbands also pay zakat, and some of the colleagues also pay zakat. Some of the peers also pay zakat. There are many people that pay zakat, so that influence also his or her decision to pay zakat. So what's the coding? Okay, the researchers need to determine the coding. So the husbands, the colleagues, peers, and people around them that pay zakat. So the coding might be something like subjective norm, okay? Where subjective norm refers to people around an individual who perform certain behavior, and then that behavior of others influence their decision. So that's the coding. Okay, so grounded theory must start with codes. What are codes? These are sets of words used to describe the meaning of a phenomena. So the researchers need to be expert, right? They have to know the keywords. All right. Okay. So the codes are determined by the data that they obtain. All right. So the data are recorded through interviews, observations, and other data sources. The codes can be discovered by looking for themes within a specific event or from a larger population. So the codes to be used determine on the data. All right. I'll give you another example. So if the respondents through the interviews, they say that paying zakat is religious obligation. If we don't pay zakat, we'll be punished in the hereafter. I pay zakat, for example, the respondents say I pay zakat because I understand that in the Quran, there are many verses in the Quran that say that zakat is an obligation, it's a wajib, yeah? Something that is compulsory. Allah says, "A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, aqimus salata wa atu zakah" in the Quran. That means paying zakat is an obligation, so I have to pay zakat. Then what's the coding? Okay, based on the answers, the coding should be something like religiosity. Is they pay zakat because it's a religious obligation. So the coding is religiosity. So that's a challenge to find the right words for the coding, right? After the codes have been made, the researcher must select concepts that represent each code. So concepts related to the compliance of zakat, for example, religiosity and subjective norms. Okay, number 3, process number 2, number 2 is theoretical memoing. This is an internal process of organizing the data, forming concepts, and testing the validity of the researcher. The researcher must have a good understanding of the theoretical position before this occurs. So in order to do this, the researcher must understand the theoretical concepts behind. For example, in compliance behavior of zakat, the researcher have to understand the basic words used to represent the factors or the determinants of paying zakat, such as subjective norms, religiosity, perceived behavioral control, attitude, and others. So the researchers must have the background about the theories that they want to finally develop. That is called theoretical memoing. Okay, the researcher must have a good understanding of the theoretical position. A good way to theorize is to look at some existing theory. So you need to look at some existing theories related to the topic that you want to do. And finally, compile findings. The final step is to write out the findings after a theory is developed from the data. In the end, you might come up with a theory. So the the theory can be represented and formed in graphics. In graphics, yeah. So finally, you might come up with a theory where you have the factors that determine the variable. You have independent variable maybe, then you have dependent variable that you develop based on the data. Okay. Quickly, we go to features of grounded theory. Number one, it is personal. This method asks researchers to spend some time with participants, observe them in situations, interview them individually or in groups, ask each participant certain questions about their experiences, observations, or other sources that are related to the study. So it is personal. The researcher go to the field, interact with the respondents, ask them questions, observe their behavior, and then record the data. Maybe if we interview, then we record the interview. If we observe, then we have some sketches. We have some notes about what we observe. Features number two, it is flexible. Okay, so it is flexible. It depends on the researcher on how and what kind of the data the researcher want to collect. For example, a researcher might not predict the meaning of a person's behavior at first glance, but after listening closely to their explanation of what happened during the interview, they might discover that one or more meanings exist that were previously unknown or unappreciated. So based on this data collection, interviews, observations, the researcher might come up with something new, new meanings, new interpretation, new concepts that the researcher might not have predicted earlier. So dapat benda baru lah. Dulu mungkin pengkaji itu tidak memahami ataupun tidak dapat mengagak apakah behavior suatu kumpulan itu. Tetapi selepas interview, selepas observation, the researcher mungkin akan dapat sesuatu yang baru yang mereka tidak perolehi sebelum daripada kajian ini. Okay, it starts with data. Macam kita sebut tadi, grounded theory, dia start dengan data. From the data itulah, selepas researcher observe the behavior of the people, the behavior of individuals within the group, the behavior of the groups. Then the researchers will, okay. The grounded theory approach often begins with a case study in which researchers observe a person or group. The researchers forms a tentative definition of their construct. This case analysis is later used to create a hypothesis. So, pengkaji itu akan start dengan satu gambaran umum, kemudian based on that gambaran umum, the researcher akan collect the data, right? So starts with data. Pergi kaji, pergi observe, pergi interview, and then based on that, the researcher will try to form a hypothesis, cuba bentuk hypothesis. Okay, hypothesis yang mungkin boleh menerangkan hubungan di antara sesuatu dengan sesuatu. Sebab dalam dalam behavioral research, sesuatu yang dilakukan itu mesti ada penyebab. Manusia melakukan sesuatu mesti ada sebab. So kita akan mencari apakah penyebab-penyebab itulah. Dan itulah hubungan antara sebab dan akibat itulah yang akan menentukan, yang akan membentuk hipotesis. Ya. Kalau seseorang itu mencuri contoh, dia ada sebab dia. So kita akan mencari sebab. Ya. Apa saja yang dilakukan oleh manusia ni mesti ada causes, mesti ada penyebabnya. Itu yang boleh kita kaji, kena cari data, daripada data itulah kita boleh dapat menentukan hubungan itu. Kenapa sesuatu itu berlaku gitu. Okay. Number 4, data is continually assessed. Sometimes it takes time sebab kadang-kadang selepas collect data, researcher dapat form the hypothesis, membentuk hubungan, cuba mendatangkan come up with the theory. Tapi kadang-kadang tidak cukup. Researcher merasakan tidak cukup. And then dia continue lagi, mencari lagi data. So, itu kita cuba elak lah. Kalau buat PhD macam ni, lambat dah siap. Okay. For example, the researcher creates an interview guide through which participants give their responses. The interview guide that the researcher creates can be used as a form of measurement. So, form of measurement maksudnya interview itu akan jadi satu instrumen untuk researcher itu mengumpulkan data. Interview is an instrument for the researchers to collect the data, right? Okay. Then each interview guide has a set of questions. Dalam interview guide atau interview protokol itu ada set soalan. Beberapa soalan yang akan ditanya oleh researcher kepada respondents. Then this definition is analyzed and any discrepancies between the cases and interviews are looked for. Alright. So that is a basic features. So in short, the grounded theory qualitative research is a dynamic and flexible approach to research that answers questions that other formats cannot do. Research grounded theory can be used in organizations to create a competitive advantage for a company. All right. Advantages of grounded theory is flexibility allows its use to be virtually endless. But there are still advantages and disadvantages. Some of the advantages, number one, grounded theory isn't concerned with whether or not something has been done before. Bila buat grounded theory, kita tak concern. Ada tak kajian sebelum ini? Kalau tak ada pun boleh buat. Yeah. Instead, grounded theory researchers are interested in what participants say about their experiences. Itu yang paling penting dalam grounded theory ini, kita researcher tu ingin melihat apakah jawapan responden terhadap sesuatu pengalaman responden itu. Contoh, kalau kita nak buat tentang psychological effect, kesan psikologi kepada sekumpulan mereka yang telah melalui musibah tsunami misalnya di Aceh. So researcher akan pergi menemu bual, melihat situasi mangsa-mangsa tsunami di Aceh, interview mereka, tinggal dengan mereka dan melihat apakah kesan-kesan psikologi hasil daripada pengalaman, hasil daripada bad experience, hasil daripada pengalaman terkena sesuatu musibah. Itu contohlah. The grounded theory method allows researchers to use inductive reasoning. Bermaksudnya researcher itu dia belum ada teori tetapi dia pergi mencari data dan daripada data itu dia akan membentuk teori ataupun hubungan. Okay. It allows for constant comparison of data to concepts. Researchers may also choose to conduct experiments. So macam-macam lagi lah. So basically itu grounded theory. Kita akan pindah ke quantitative research pula. Ada soalan tentang qualitative research using the grounded theory research design. Ada soalan? Bapak Haji?
Ya, Prof. Ada, Prof. Ini, Prof.
Silakan.
Thank you, Prof. Prof, dalam kita melakukan interview wawancara dengan expert atau dengan manajemen di tempat di mana kita melakukan riset, Prof. Membatasi antara informasi yang disampaikan berdasarkan pengalaman dia as expert or as manajemen gitu, Prof. Itu bagaimana kita membatasi antara memang yang menyangkut pengalaman atas yang kita riset yang dia jalankan dengan apa yang dari emosinya dia gitu, Prof. Kan let's say, Prof, maybe this is not fact, mungkin faktanya bukan itu, faktanya adalah sesuatu tapi dia ada emosi yang wah harusnya begini gitu, harusnya dapat dukungan seperti ini. Nah, dalam mencari interview resultnya itu, Prof, gimana kita membatasi, Prof, kan antara real fakta yang dia sebagai expert atau sebagai manajemen dengan apa yang menjadi emosi dia gitu, Prof. Ini membedakan gimana, Prof, kalau untuk pendataan hasil interview, Prof? Thank you, Prof.
Okay, very good question, Bapak Haji. Ya. Kadang-kadang jawapan dia itu tidak berdasarkan fakta, tetapi berdasarkan emosi. Ya.
Yes, sering, Prof. Sering betul.
Ya, sering begitu.
Jadi gimana? Ya, gimana, Prof? Itu?
Jadi begini ya. Yang pertama sekali kita mesti clear tentang apakah research objektif yang kita ingin laksanakan. Kalau kita ingin melihat dari segi persepsi ya, dan dia pun menjawab dari sudut persepsi, data itu juga kita terima. Kita jangan reject ya. Kita jangan reject. Kita boleh terima data itu dan kita boleh buat coding. Mungkin coding kita adalah persepsi terhadap sesuatu. Itu sebab saya bukan expert lah. Jadi kena cari expert lah untuk kita buat satu coding. Jadi mungkin jawapan dia banyak dan antara jawapannya berbentuk emosional, berbentuk persepsi kan. Kita tidak reject data itu. Itu juga adalah data. Cuma sebagai pengkaji kita mesti cari coding yang sesuai untuk kita ringkaskan apa yang dia cakap itu dalam satu coding saja. Dalam satu coding kita boleh ringkaskan.
Artinya, Prof, maybe, Prof, the question just need result yes or no question, gitu, Prof.
Bukan. Maksud saya begini. Saya bagi contoh dalam bidang saya lah. Bidang saya ialah kepatuhan membayar zakat.
Okey, Prof.
Okey. Sebagai contohnya, saya ingin melihat apakah faktor-faktor yang membuatkan seseorang itu membayar zakat. Saya boleh tanya individu, saya boleh tanya expert ya. Jadi contoh saya pergi tanya expert, saya pergi tanya maybe pegawai ataupun officers dekat zakat institutions. So soalan saya ialah Bapa banyak terlibat dengan pengurusan zakat ya, dan kita dapati ada lagi ya orang Islam yang tidak membayar zakat. Jadi apa pandangan bapa tentang kenapa ya ada lagi orang Islam yang tidak membayar zakat? Ada orang Islam membayar zakat secara direct kepada asnaf, tapi tidak membayar zakat kepada institusi zakat yang official. Ya, apa pandangan bapa? Contoh gitulah soalannya. Jadi jawapan dia ada banyaklah. Yang mungkin ada jawapannya yang emosional ya. Dia kata saya sangat tidak puas hati ya. Saya sangat tidak puas hati dan tidak faham kenapa mereka tidak membayar zakat. mungkin mereka kurang kesedaran dari segi pembayaran zakat. Mungkin mereka tidak berpuas hati dengan institusi zakat yang wujud. Mungkin mereka tidak berpuas hati dengan sistem kaedah yang kita laksanakan. Okey, itu jawapannya contoh. So, persoalannya ialah bagaimana kita nak buat coding itu. Bagaimana kita nak buat coding. Okey. Jadi, contoh di sini coding ialah persepsi terhadap agihan zakat. Itu coding dia. Persepsi terhadap agihan zakat. Contohlah ya. So, berdasarkan jawapan itu, kita bukan nak semua jawapannya. Kita nak ringkaskan jawapannya tu dan letakkan di bawah satu coding. Begitu. Boleh Pak Haji ya?
Okey, clear, Prof.
Jawapannya
Okay,
kita tak
thank you,
reject.
Prof.
Jawapannya kita tak reject. Walaupun dia emosional, kita tak reject. Kita record saja. Kita tulis saja. Kemudian kita type saja. Persoalan kita sekarang ialah bagaimana kita nak meringkaskan jawapan itu dalam bentuk coding. Coding ni maksud dalam bentuk perkataan lah. Contoh saya bagi tadi, codingnya ialah persepsi terhadap agihan zakat. Begitu.
Okey, Prof. Thank you, Prof.
You're welcome. Ada soalan lain?
Saya mau tanya, Prof. Saya mau tanya.
Saya suka dengan banyak soalan ya, Bapak Haji dan Ibu.
Saya mau tanya.
Silakan.
Mungkin ini sharing dengan teman yang lain, Pak Haji juga ya.
Silakan.
If we have a deep interview from the expert, should we give him a reward or something else, hadiah, a gift, atau money?
Oke.
Harus Pak Haji. Maksudnya if we want to interview expert lah, for example.
Okay.
How is the ethic ya? Maksudnya kita harus kasih hadiah kah? Atau uang kah? Atau apa ya?
Yeah.
Kita nggak kenal kan, sometimes we don't know personally ya.
Yeah.
Apa yang kita kasih ke mereka ya?
It's a difficult answer, Prof.
Okay.
Yeah, because this is the Indonesian type, Prof. Yeah, sometimes what you get, what you have, Prof. So the quality has a price, maybe. It's the meaning of Mbak Ita said, Prof. So if we will get some answering from our expertise, maybe to make it deeply answer from someone. So maybe we have some trick, Prof. Yeah, we can say something about him, about her, something nice, of course. Then finally we give something, Prof. Maybe, Prof.
Yeah, it's a difficult question to answer because people's perception is different. From my experience, some people, they appreciate the token of appreciation. Sometimes we give token in the form of pen, pen, some expensive pen, for example, or a pen. They appreciate it. Some people, they don't appreciate it, and they don't like it. So it's kind of difficult to answer. But in research, there is nothing wrong with giving a token of appreciation. You can give in the form of pen or cup or anything. It's not advisable to give in the form of money to the respondents. Although some people, they give in the form of money, but I think it's not advisable because they might interpret it differently, especially the high flyers, the VIPs, they don't really appreciate. But token is all right. But my advice is the best reward for them is you give compliments. For example, say something nice about him or her or about the place that they work, For example, you can start with, okay, for example, I interview an officer from the Zakat institution. I can start with, Prof or Doctor, I have read your articles. I've seen your presentation. You are well known across the world regarding zakat. So I really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you and interview you. So we give them compliments. And if you can go to the office, say something nice about the office. Oh, your office is very nice. It's very huge. So that's how you attract them to talk to you. Give them compliments. That will attract people to, to talk to you. Usually something like that. The token is usually given after the interview session is finished. But, some people like it, some people don't like it. I remember during one Ramadan, a couple of years ago, I interviewed one respondent and expert, and I gave him a pack of tamar, a pack of dates. It was Ramadan, right? Kurma or tamar or dates. And I heard later on that they say Dr. Yusuf gave, try to bribe or something to get the interview. And I said, oh my God, I didn't mean that. A date was given because it was Ramadan, and I thought I would get reward from Allah by giving people dates, so that they can open their fast using the tamar or dates. But the respondents, the VIP, didn't appreciate it. So it's kind of tricky. Not all people like, but usually people appreciate compliments. Usually people appreciate the tokens. Okay. Any other question?
Yeah, Prof.
May I ask you, Prof?
Sure, go ahead. Bapak Amir, silakan.
Yeah, still related with the question before about qualitative research, grounded theory about interviews. Usually the boss are very, very busy. So is it permitted or not if we use the written interview? And how many questions should we make for the written interview if it is permitted for our research?
Yes, good question. Number one, you should have what we call the research protocols, right? The research protocol. So research protocols is done prior to the interview. How many questions should be in the research protocols? It depends on whether the interview is open-ended or closed-ended. If it is closed-ended, usually you should have more questions. Closed-ended questions means you have a set of interviews. For example, you have 12 questions, right? You go to the interviews session, whether face-to-face or virtual interview, you ask them questions and you stick to the questions. You don't ask different questions. you prepare 12 questions, for example, you ask 12 questions. So that is called the interview protocol. Interview protocol consists of questions that researchers want to ask the interviewees. The second type is a open-ended interview. Open-ended interview, usually you have like 3 or 4 questions only. The rest of the questions, the researchers follow from the answers given by the respondents. For example, the respondents answer this way, and then you follow up the questions based on the answers given by the respondents. So talk to your supervisor about the interview protocols, okay? What are the interview protocols? How many questions? So it depends on the type of interview that you want to conduct, whether open-ended or open-ended or closed section interviews. So talk to your supervisor before you do the interview. If you do qualitative research, the interview protocols must be included in Chapter 3. The set of questions you want to ask must be included in Chapter 3. And the interview protocols also must pass the test of validity, whether the questions you want to ask is valid or not. So it has to be determined by a supervisor and by experts in your field. Okay, Bapak Amir.
So it is okay, Prof, yeah, if we use a written interview, yeah, if we cannot meet the boss, for example.
Yeah, I think it's all right. I think it's all right. But it's not common. It's not common. Jarang sekali kita buat written interview, ya. But I think it's all right. Selalu kita buat zaman COVID ini kita buat virtual interview, ya. Kita buat virtual interview. Or we can give them the questions and then ask them to record the interview. Usually they don't have time to write, you know. If you give them questions, then they don't have time to write. Most likely they will not answer your questions.
Yes, Prof, I see.
But
maybe it is the latest choice if we cannot meet the boss, Prof. Yeah. So maybe we ask them to record. Yeah.
Yeah, if you cannot meet personally, you talk to the secretary, for example, ask them, give them the interview protocols, right? Interview protocols means the set of questions that you want to ask the respondents. Then you ask the secretary nicely, you know, and talk to the boss, and then ask the favor, you know, to read the questions and then just record, and then send the recording to you. Maybe that's a better choice.
Yes. Thank you, Prof, for the answer. Yeah, I think it is a good solution. I think.
Yes, thank you. Okay, good question. Any other question? Yeah, silakan.
Halo, Prof. Halo, Prof.
Silakan.
Okay, Prof. Prof, sometimes, Prof, when we need interview someone, expert or management of some company, Prof. Yeah, we expect that our question, give the short answer. But sometimes, Prof, we've got a long answer, Prof. So we interview more than one. So with the same question, Prof. Then they always answer with a long question. So is it okay or no, Prof? If we make some changing to become a short answer, Prof? Because we know about the point of the answer, Prof. But the expert or the management give a long answer from. That's my first question. That my other question from is the same case with this our matters about the question. Is it which is better if we make interview which WNH question or yes or no question, or we made some choice answer to our expert or management from. Thank you, Prof.
So I will answer the second question first. Interview usually requires long answers. So it's not a yes or no question. So interview usually we want, for grounded theory, you cannot ask a yes or no question. So for grounded theory, for grounded theory, you want a long explanation. So if the answer is long, it's good. So all you need to do is ask somebody. Usually, if you don't have time, you ask somebody to type all the response by the participants. Type word by word all the responses. No problem. Even if it is long, do not delete.
Oh.
So, if you don't have time, ask somebody. It's all right. You can ask somebody to type the answers. So the data is in the form of words, right? Type in word form. Type in the word form. It can be 10 pages. It can be 20 pages for each respondent. So it's all right.
Okay. Even we just need a short answer. So that we cannot change their answer into a simple answer, yeah, Prof. Yeah, I mean to go straight to the point only, Prof.
Okay, let me tell you how the classic way of doing it. The classic way of doing it is after the answers are typed in words form, right? After the answers is typed in word form, okay, for example, then the old way of doing is the researchers will code the answers into different coding, right? For example, the first coding is religiosity. Second coding is perception towards distribution. Third coding is, for example, attitude, and many more coding, right? So for example, the first coding is religiosity. The old ways of doing it, they use what we call color pen, color marker. So the first coding is red. Okay, so this is the first coding, red. So the researcher will have the coding, okay, religiosity, red. Okay, so that's how the old ways of doing it. And then, for example, you use the old ways, people have the line marker, line marker. Now we can do using computer. Okay, for example, the second coding is yellow. Okay, yellow represents, for example, other coding, perceptions towards equity, perceptions towards distribution, and so on. Each coding have different colors. So that's the old way of doing it. Okay. So don't worry about whether the answer is long or not. Researchers code and put it in different color. All right. But nowadays, we don't use this anymore. We have a software called Nvivo. Okay, so to explain about Nvivo, it requires 2 days. So I cannot explain it here. We need to go to the workshop on Nvivo. So that's how we analyze the data using interviews. The responses are recorded and then typed into words. Okay, and then we have to determine the coding and give the name to the coding and give the color. Okay, give the color. So if we have, for example, 10 codings, so 10 different colors. So you make a note somewhere. Red refers to what coding? Okay, different colors refers to different coding. All right. So we need more time to explain about this. But for today, I just want to give the general idea of about, you know, how to do the grounded theory approach. About the coding, it takes 1 or 2 days to explain, you know. So it's not enough time to explain in this class. Usually, they have you know the workshop on the coding, okay, using Nvivo. Okay, other question?
Hello, Assalamualaikum Prof.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi. Bapak Hendra.
Ya Prof. Sorry Prof, ada
Sehat?
tadi
Sehat,
sikit. Sehat Prof, sehat Prof.
Alhamdulillah. Silakan.
Ya, saya nak tanya, saya dah hantar dah initial plan saya tu, tapi tak keluar-keluar juga jawapan saya tu. Macam mana tu?
Mungkin untuk 14 hari bulan ini sudah ditentukan pembentang-pembentangnya. Kemungkinan ada kemungkinan kita terima lambat. Kita lambat terima. Jadi kita akan buat satu lagi kolokvium 1. Don't worry. Selepas raya, the first colloquium during Ramadan. Okay, the second one in May, after raya. So selepas raya tu apa ni, kita akan buat satu lagi untuk colloquium 1. Mungkin ada yang for some reason saya tak pasti, sebab bukan saya yang arrange colloquium 1. Tapi don't worry, dalam bulan puasa atau bulan raya, selepas raya pun okey. Kalau selepas raya boleh present sambil makan kuih raya. Bulan puasa
Siap Prof, siap Prof. Saya kira hari ni ada apa tadi? Ada acara masak tadi Prof. Masak ikan. Rupa tak jadi.
Prof, the end of this semester on May or June? May. Okay.
May.
So we have to finish all our assignment 1 before May, yeah, Prof.
Yeah, the deadline is 31st of May. Assignment 1 and assignment 2.
Oh, 21st?
31 Maret. 31 Maret.
Okay.
Selepas, sebab in April, I have to key in your marks. Okay?
Okay, Prof.
Deadline for assignment 1, long time ago.
Yeah.
But I'm a nice guy. So it's still okay. If some lecturers, they don't accept the assignment submitted after the deadline. Yeah. But I'm a nice guy. So you can still submit assignment 1. The deadline was due long time ago. Tapi mesti submit sebelum atau pada 31 Mac. Sebab
assignment 1 and assignment 2 ya, Prof.
Yes. Sebab bulan 4 April adalah 14 April adalah tarikh lecturer untuk key in the carry mark. Okay, so I need time, 2 weeks. Please do not submit after 31 Mac. Submit sebelum atau pada 31 Mac. Kalau sudah submit, ada student yang sudah submit assignment 1, okay. Then submit assignment 2. Dalam Google Classroom, ada yang silap submit ke WhatsApp. Kalau submit ke WhatsApp, susah saya nanti kadang-kadang dia hilang. Dia hilang. Bila phone dah penuh, dia hilang sendiri. Dia submit ke Google Classroom.
Okay, Prof.
Kalau belum submit assignment 1, boleh submit anytime sebelum 31. Itu sangat penting. Macam saya bagi tahu dalam last lecture, saya tak begitu strict. Tetapi saya sendiri ada tempoh, ada tarikh untuk saya masukkan carry mark. Okay. Tarikhnya adalah 14 April. So, saya bagi deadline 31 Maret. Tarikh untuk menghantar assignment 1 dan assignment 2. Please submit assignment 1 and assignment 2 in the sections given in Google Classroom. Jangan submit to the wrong section. Assignment 1, submit to section assignment 1. Assignment 2, submit to section assignment 2. Ada di Google Classroom, ya. Kalau tidak, nanti saya cari tak jumpa. Okey. Bapak Amir, boleh submit lagi, ya? Assignment 1 dan assignment 2.
Yes, Prof. Cuma yang 2 belum selesai, Prof.
Boleh submit pada
yang 1 sudah, ya.
31 Maret, ya. 31 Maret, ingat tarikh, ya.
Kalau yang kedua, Prof, 31 Maret juga?
Iya. Sebabnya saya perlu key in semua markah sebelum 14 April. Biasa saya minta 2 minggu. Kalau tak sempat 31 Maret.
Pak Amir cuti kerja, Pak Amir.
Pada Pak Haji.
Cuti kerja, Pak Amir. Atau masuk kelasnya, Pak Amir. Masuk
Iya,
kelas khusus.
Cuma, ya, cuti.
Ya, mudah-mudahan sih bisa agak diperpanjang.
Prof, itu oke. Assignment 2 chapter 2, 3 ya, Prof ya.
Chapter 1, 2,
chapter 1, 2 and 3. Okay.
Kalau tak sempat 31 Maret, okey. Saya bagi hingga 7 April, ya.
7 April, Prof. 7 April, Prof.
Alhamdulillah.
Very nice. Very nice guy, Prof.
Memang luar biasa Pak Haji negonya, Pak Haji.
Iya, Pak Elza.
Sebabnya saya perlu submit 14 April, ya. Markah. Jadi saya perlu masa untuk membaca, memberi markah dan key in, ya. Ya. Jadi kita dosen, kita ada deadline untuk menghantar markah dalam sistem, ya. Itu.
So, Prof, for assignment 2, we deal April 7, Prof.
Ya, April 7.
Oke, thank you, Prof. Pak Amir, makasih banyak tuh, Pak Amir gara-gara ini. Langsung disetujui ya, Pak Indra ya.
Jadi enak, Pak Amir.
Jadi assignment 1 kita tetapkan 31 Maret.
March, oke.
Assignment 2 7 April, ya.
Oke, thank you, Prof.
Yeah, thank you very much, Prof. Very kind of you.
Because I need to submit everything 14th of April. So I need time
Prof.
to read, to read and give marks and submit to the system. Okay?
Okay, Prof.
Yes, thank you, Prof.
You're welcome. InsyaAllah. Semua lulus, insyaAllah. Don't worry. If you make mistakes, just admit.
Amin ya Rabbal Alamin. Semoga Allah mudahkan.
Prof, don't forget.
Kita dosen, kita mau semua pelajar kita lulus. Betul? Betul kan?
Iya. Iya, Prof.
Tidak ada dosen yang mau menggagalkan pelajar. Betul? Kita mau semua pelajar lulus. Tapi mesti submit lah. Assignment mesti submit. exam mesti ambil kan, macam tu kan?
Ya, Prof.
Prof, to make sure 100% your our class success, Prof. Maybe when you have some exam, why don't you give us 24 hours, not 12 hours, Prof?
Okay, I will give you 24 hours. Okay, I will give you 24 hours.
Masya Allah, tabarakallah nih Pak Haji nih.
Masya Allah, Pak Haji.
Luar biasa memperjuangkan kita nih.
I will give you 24 hours.
Wah, subhanallah. Very nice guy ini Pak Prof nih. Thank you Pak Prof.
You're welcome. I want everybody to pass the class.
Okay. But Prof, don't forget about your commitment to share about the material of.
I just sent to your WhatsApp.
Oh, okay.
The latest one. You check your WhatsApp.
Okay. Thank you, Prof.
Okay. So. Okay, so the next one we want to talk about structural equation modeling. Oh, I think we continue next week because it's already 1 o'clock.
Yeah,
so next week.
Yeah, in Jakarta it is time zuhur, Prof.
Yeah, so we continue next week, yeah, inshallah. Yeah. Next week we will review chapter 10, Chapter 10. You read before coming to class. Last week we cover, but next week we will review and we will discuss in more detail, yeah, about this data analysis using Plsm. And then, inshallah, in May we will have a workshop on Plsm. Before going to workshop, we need to understand the theory behind the Plsm. Yeah? Okay, inshallah, we will continue next week by reviewing the data analysis using Plsm. The reason I want to review is number one, this is quite difficult. This is called the advanced data analysis. This is the advanced data analysis. We want to go into more detail. And it's also on the final exam. So pay attention. Grounded theory and this one is on the final exam. All right. So before we end, please ask questions. I like questions. Yeah? Bu Amy, any question? Bu
No, Prof. Thank you.
Bu Putri.
Bu Putri macamnya ada lah tu Prof. Ada di benak dia nak bertanya.
Nampak macam dia ada banyak nak tanya ya?
Banyak fikir tu Prof. Pusing-pusing nampaknya.
Gimana Prof supaya berjaya menghadapi persembahan kolokium 1 Prof?
Insya-Allah. Talk to your supervisor. You can discuss with your second co-supervisor also.
Yes, Prof.
And I encourage you to discuss among yourselves also. Boleh tanya sama sendiri, boleh tanya supervisor, boleh tanya co-supervisor. Maybe you have dosen, friends yang sudah ada PhD, yang sudah expert, boleh juga bertanya. So, as-su'al miftahul ilmi. Bertanya itu kunci kepada ilmu. Jangan malu untuk bertanya. Okay. Cuma bila bertanya tu mesti ada style dia, mesti ada adab dia lah bila bertanya. Okey. Sebahagian daripada saya dapati majoriti pelajar di sini saya sangat puas hati ya, begitu beradab sekali ya. Cuma dalam semester-semester lepas itu ada jugalah yang pelajar-pelajar kita yang ada agak kurang beradab bila bertanya. Itu semester dulu-dulu lah, bukan semester ni okey lah. Alhamdulillah semua beradab. Sebab saya sebenarnya daripada masa saya kecil, saya belajar di pesantren. Saya pelajar pesantren. Di Indonesia dipanggil pesantren, di Malaysia dipanggil pondok. Jadi,
Pondok pesantren, Prof. Di Riau pondok pesantren, Prof.
Pondok
Pesantren.
pondok pesantren. Ya.
Yes.
Ya betul ya. Sama Prof.
Pondok pesantren.
Sama, Prof.
Saya dulu masa umur 13, 14, 15 saya belajar di pondok. Jadi kami sangat mementingkan adab. Adab dengan guru semua kan. Jadi bagi saya kita guru dengan pelajar mesti ada adab lah. Jadi semua pelajar di sini semua adabnya sangat baik. A+. Tapi saya cakap dulu-dulu lah adalah yang kurang sikit. Jadi adab lama.
Even this class always request and begging ya Prof.
Ya. Betul. For example dulu dalam kelas masters saya ajar research method untuk masters. Saya katakan saya katakan pemilihan supervisor sangat penting ya. Pemilihan supervisor sangat penting dalam kita membuat penulisan disertasi peringkat masters ya. Dan saya katakan di sini ada ramai supervisor ya. Saya bagi contoh supervisor A, supervisor B, supervisor C. Jadi soalan seorang student bertanya saya, siapakah supervisor yang terbaik? Saya kata saya tak pasti siapa supervisor yang terbaik. Tapi saya rasa kalau dari segi ranking, saya ni antara yang paling rendah sekali. Dari segi ranking yang terbaik, saya antara yang paling rendah sekali. Jadi pelajar itu pergi cerita dengan orang lain, jangan pilih profesor sebab dia bukan supervisor yang bagus. Dia sendiri cakap dia ranking paling rendah. Kita mesti tawaduk, betul tak? Kita mesti tawaduk kan. Takkan saya mau cakap, oh saya the best supervisor. Tak boleh cakap macam itu. Saya tawaduk, dia saya cakap, okey kalau ranking saya paling rendah sekali lah. Boleh pilih siapa saja. Lepas tu pelajar itu pergi saya dengar dia kata jangan buat dengan profesor sebab dia sendiri cakap dia tak bagus. Itu kurang adab lah. Bagi saya, itu contoh lah saja. Sembang-sembang ini ya. Bagi contoh. Jadi saya punya style, saya tidak akan memuji diri sendiri. Saya tidak akan cakap saya yang bagus. Saya akan cakap saya tak bagus. Tapi pelajar tu tak bolehlah pergi beritahu orang lain, profesor ni tak bagus. Itu kurang adab lah. Sebenarnya saya lebih kepada tawaduk lah. Itu contoh. Sembang-sembang saja.
Ya.
Itu contoh saja.
Okey, Prof.
Okey. Jadi itulah saya sekejap saja masa ya. Kita sudah di penghujung semester. Jadi harapan saya semua insya-Allah lulus kelas ini dan insya-Allah lulus kolokium 1. Saya berusahalah dengan sebaik mungkin untuk membantulah ibu-ibu bapa-bapa untuk lulus kelas ini dan juga untuk lulus kolokium 1, seterusnya proposal defense, seterusnya kolokium 2 dan akhirnya viva. Walaupun saya tidak dapat menerima pelajar-pelajar di bawah supervision sebabkan saya sudah penuh ya, kuota sudah penuh. Saya sudah ada 10 pelajar PhD ya. Tapi saya willing lah kalau ada apa-apa soalan untuk saya bincangkan, untuk saya bantu ya. Sebab bagi saya kita nak jaga image lah. Unisyam ni kita nak tunjukkan image yang baik. Apa ya? Kita cuba yang terbaik lah. Walaupun kita bukan yang terbaik ya. Saya bukan yang terbaik tapi saya cubalah yang terbaik ya. Jadi kalau ada kekurangan jangan bagi tahu orang lain producer ni tak bagus saya memang
don't worry bro.
Itu adab lah. Mungkin saya ada kekurangan tapi apa ya, cakap yang baik-baik sajalah. Dan kita cuba jadi supervisor yang apa bahasa Indonesianya nyaman ya. Yang nyaman, kita cakap dengan elok-elok, baik ya. Jadi jangan stres ya. Kalau ada masalah boleh bagi tahu lah. InsyaAllah kita cuba bantulah. Bapak priority ya. Jangan pusing-pusing.
Allah bro.
Tenang saja. Kalau ada masalah boleh bagi tahu, kita cuba bantulah. InsyaAllah.
Ya bro.
Ya, insyaAllah. Kita jumpa lagi minggu hadapan, insyaAllah.
Okey, bro.
Ya, minggu depan adalah minggu yang terakhir lah.
Okey, bro.
Jangan lupa menghantar assignment ya. Jadi assignment 1, 31 Maret. Assignment 2, 7 April ya.
Okey, bro.
Ya. Okey, cuba yang terbaik lah.
Okey, bro.
Okey,
Thank you very much, bro.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Jumpa lagi.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Terima kasih, Prof. Thank you, Prof.
Selamat siang semua.
Siang, Prof.